Welcome back, anime fans, to Ghost in the Cloud, your anime podcast. That is I, John, and with me is my co-host, Bridget, bringing you a bit of a different episode today. We recently did an March Madness Disney bracket. Now, for those who don't know, March Madness is a college basketball event that kind of takes the United States by storm, and it pits the top teams against one another, and people get very into building their own brackets and betting on them and so on and so forth. They get really into it because that's just the spirit of the thing, and normally this is done in March. Well, although we're a little late to the party, we thought it'd be really fun to do an anime version of this, which we broke down today. So,
I mean, after the Disney one went viral,
yes,
I thought it was just appropriate.
For those who haven't seen the Disney one, we recommend checking that out. It's a really tough it's a really tough Disney showdown. They depict Disney movies, classic movies, versus the Pixar movies, which is another branch of Disney.
I refused
to finish really tough. You gotta finish it.
No, I decided to have a tie between Frozen and Beauty and the Beast.
You didn't even get to the end.
I acknowledge that whichever one I would pick would beat the Pixar film, which was The Incredibles, because, come on. I'm not choosing between my two favorite Disney movies.
Well, it's
just not happening.
Anyway, we thought it'd be fun to do the same thing, but with animes. And initially, I wanted to do it based on shows that we have watched for our podcast. However, it occurred to me midway through that we didn't have enough movies. So we divided it into two 16-team brackets, which I guess I'll refer to it as teams, but they're shows. So 16 show brackets, and one side of it is anime shows while the other side is anime movies. The anime movies, we had about 10, so we had to fill in about 6. What I wanted to ensure was that at least one of us saw those remaining 6.
It was hard to not completely overwhelm the panel with Miyazaki movies.
Yes, it was.
Because they do dominate the tops of all the movies.
All the lists that we find and stuff.
We try to break it up a bit, so there's some other things on there.
But I decided to take what we had, and I randomly chose, so we don't have all of the anime shows we've done, but we have a good, I think, mix. So let's get into it. We're going to start with the anime shows, then we'll move on to the movies, and we'll work our way up the list. Okay, so first up, we have Food Wars versus Your Lie in April. This, I thought, the way I set them up, Food Wars was the first show we did. Yeah. Now, we did the Ghost in the Shell movie, which we'll talk about later, but Food Wars was the first show that we talked about. Now, Food Wars is fantastic. It's funny, it's lighthearted, it's enjoyable in every way, but then you have Your Lie in April, and that
Your Lie in April was a beautiful, heartfelt show.
Exactly.
But there are few things on earth that I will choose over Food Wars.
So you're saying Food Wars.
I love Food Wars. It is my personal favorite. It's not that it is necessarily overall a better show.
Well, I think that's how we should judge it.
No, I think it's based on our favorites. And Food Wars will always dominate over another show unless it's... I can only think of 2 shows that might be better than Food Wars.
Well, I love this show so much. Your Lie in April is a better show. So I think what we should do is rock, paper, scissors to see who advances.
Yeah, but people can't see that.
I'll cut out. I'll just edit in who won.
No, it's fine. Ready. Best out of 3. Rock, paper, scissors, and shoot.
All right, that's 1 for John. Rock, paper, scissors, and shoot. That's 2. That means...
Damn it!
That means Your Lie in April is advancing.
Wait, can we talk about this?
Nope.
Wait, come on. Food Wars is literally one of my top favorite shows. I think it should dominate most of the stuff.
On to the next round.
Okay, fine.
We have ReZero versus Parasite the Maxim.
This is a really easy choice for me.
First
of all, you spelled Parasite wrong.
Yes, it did.
It's fine.
Thanks for pointing it out. I really appreciate it.
My biggest complaint with ReZero, and I can't overlook it here, it has one of the most annoying villains in all of television. I found him so annoying.
I actually found the main character annoying, so for the similar reasons, the main character,
he was annoying, just he wasn't likable. The other characters were more likable than he was.
See, now I think Parasite the Maxim is a really solid show, well thought out, but I was drawn more to the characters in ReZero because the side characters, because there's a lot of heart that comes from those characters. That said, I think I gotta go with Parasite on this
Parasite
one.
is definitely a better show.
All right, so on to our next round. We have Steins Gate versus Showbits, and I can simply say Steins Gate.
All right, I remember really enjoying Showbits growing up, and then revisiting it after a good 10 years. I was like, wow, there's some serious problems with the show that I completely missed the first time. Like, the fact that it's very sexist. It objectifies women really bad, and I can't really enjoy the show anymore now that I see that. So I would have to say Steins Gate, which is one of my all-time favorite shows. Very well-rounded. It's got time travel.
It's a little slow to start, but it is a very good show.
You had trouble starting it. It
turned, it turned around for me, and I agree that Steins Gate definitely beats Showbiz. Showbiz is kind of irritating and just annoying to watch.
It's sad. All right, this next one.
Next one up is Mushishi versus Blue Exorcist.
This is tough because they're very different styles.
I like, from what I've seen of Mushishi, and I haven't seen everything, but I enjoy the idea behind it. I don't know if I particularly think the execution is very good. I like the style of animation. Blue Exorcist is very cookie cutter.
It's a very neat, simple, easy to please kind of show.
It is, but that is also, although that's a hindrance, it's also a benefit to the show.
But then they waited 6 years to come out with season 2.
Which I actually liked better than season 1.
Yeah, but it just, it really took away from it because it was just so long. But by that point, I just wasn't connected to the characters anymore. Well, but Mushishi, I find, is a very original show. And I found it really beautiful and very, nature involved. And I really liked the style of it. And I honestly think that because it's so different from any other anime I've ever seen, I really think it deserves a one-up from this cookie cutter show, as you put it. There's so many other shows like Blue Exorcist. I think Mushishi deserves it. I was going to
argue that we probably should rock, paper, scissors for this one, but based on your argument, I will concede that Mushishi
I'm not saying it's the
show.
Best show out there. I'm saying that between these two shows, it absolutely deserves a one-up over Blue Exorcist. Although Blue Exorcist is a fun show, Mushishi is so original and found really moving. Erased.
Next one up.
And Yuri on Ice.
Erased might be one of my favorite animes in the last decade.
Oh man,
Yuri on Ice is also really high up on my list.
I love Yuri on Ice.
It's a lot of fun. Erased. I felt like Yuri on Ice, although it was a short show, could have been shorter.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's because they do a lot of the same routines.
Yeah, but you know what?
Music
My argument
wonderful.
to that was that is how it works. When you are working to perfect a performance, and as a musician, I speak from experience, that's how it is. Repetition. You are doing the same routine again and again until you literally have the song stuck in your head for a year, which did happen to me.
I don't disagree. Yuri on Ice, it's a very happy show. There's not, even though he experiences hardships, I'm getting full enjoyment out of watching it.
Yeah.
That said, Erased, I was really on the edge of my seat with a lot of Erased, and I loved how developed all the characters were and how the story progressed.
And this show actually had a strong, supportive parent. How rare is that in anime? The parents are just non-existent or just background characters, but the mom in the show Erased was such a strong and supportive and really crucial part of the end of this show, which I really liked. I was like, finally, strong mom, really involved in the son's life, and it just seems it's more realistic because that's most.
Despite the time travel, it was a little more realistic because it's older characters. You understand where they're coming from.
So really, really tough decision because I think good.
I want to go.
I think
Erased.
Overall, Erased is a better show, but Yuri will always be my heart. All right, moving on to My Hero Academia and The Devil is a Part-Timer.
My Hero Academia. I don't need to argue this.
You can't argue. My Hero Academia is one of the best received shows in the last year, and The Devil's a Part-Timer, even though it came out a few years ago and short, it's still loved. I still see people dress up as a McRonald's, at cons, but My Hero will always be better.
All right, so this next one, I know how it's going to go for Bridget. So let's just go straight to rock, paper, scissors. It's Yona of the Dawn versus Dragon Ball. Let's just do this.
Why did you do this?
Let's just do this.
All right, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, and shoot. Oh, that was one for me. Rock, paper, scissors, and shoot.
All right.
Oh, I got it. Dragon Ball is out.
I'm sorry, Frank.
That's for Food Wars. All right, here we have Cowboy Bebop against Black Butler.
Cowboy Bebop.
Nothing's going to beat Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop might take this whole side simply because I don't think there's an anime that is more complete,
and
fully realized, timeless, and just fun. Like, it hits everything. You get intrigue, you get suspense, you get action, you get romance. It's a complete show. And although I enjoyed Black Butler, Cowboy Bebop is leagues ahead.
Yeah. You can watch the show after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and it's like a new show. It really does not age. It never feels outdated. It is just so clean and just perfect.
So that is our first wave of the anime shows. Round one is over. We're going to go over to the anime movies. And again, what I did here was I took all the movies we've seen so far, which didn't add up to the 16 bracket. So I've added a few that at least one of us have seen. We'll figure out how we advance those as it goes on. So first up is Ghost in the Shell the movie versus the irregular Magic High, Girl Who Calls the Stars.
Okay.
Now, I don't think it's a hard choice, although I don't think Irregular Magic High is the movie really also doesn't do much for me.
It did nothing for me.
So I think Ghost in the Shell kind of takes it.
Yeah.
Plus,
I feel like even though it's a little dated, that is a classic movie. And yeah, that was the inspiration for the name of our show. It earns this win.
Next up is Escalaflowne the movie versus Spirited Away.
Oh, please.
Yep, Spirited Away it is.
Escalaflowne the movie was awful. Although I did see the show, and I would like for you to see the show with me sometime. Power through it. You gotta rally. But the movie was a really poor adaptation.
Next up is Akira versus Ponyo. Now, we might lose some listeners if we end up not picking Akira. Now, I understand why people love Akira.
It is a revolutionary film.
I think based on that merit alone, it should advance. That said, personally, I didn't enjoy it. Like, I understand the effect it had on the era. I understand how important it is to the anime community. Personally, it is not a movie I enjoy. It
is artwork. So imagine going through a museum and you see this piece that's like a toilet on its side and that's artwork. And you're like, okay, I get that it changed the concept of what art is, but why? I don't enjoy this. That's what it is to me.
That said, I haven't seen Ponyo in a very long time, so...
It's like The Little Mermaid, but it's more kiddie, to be honest. It's one of my least favorites of the Miyazaki films.
So, do you think we should leave it up to fate and...
Wait, who's voting for what?
I'll be Akira. You be Ponyo.
Okay.
It's one up Ponyo. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Alright, Ponyo advances. Sorry, Akira. And sorry to all the fans we just lost.
No.
Alright, next up is Pokemon the first movie and Fist of the North Star. Fist of the North Star is a 1985 film. It's god-awful. I don't understand what the point of this movie is. It's really bad. It doesn't have great dialogue. It doesn't have great story. The animation isn't very good. There's really nothing about it. The reason I have it on here is because I've seen it. However, Pokemon the first movie is just... It has such a place in my heart.
I am not going to make you choose.
So, there's no way I could ever put
Pokemon.
Fist of the North Star
just do it.
into...
Pokemon, you want
it's got to be Pokemon on this one. Pokemon, the first movie. Alright, next up, we've got two sluggers from the Miyazaki Studio Ghibli era. We got Howl's Moving Castle and My Neighbor Totoro.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Okay. I would say both are equally loved.
They are, yes. But I think that Howl's Moving Castle, it's got the romance, which... My Neighbor Totoro is just kiddie friendly. I feel like it's got that extra layer and it's got fantastic voice actors for that film. Like they went above and beyond with the artwork, like the illustration, like the falling stars when he catches Calcifer. It was just absolutely gorgeous.
I think I'm going to let you have this one.
Although were you really considering to vote against Howl's Moving Castle?
I do think Totoro should have an equal say because of how well liked that movie is.
Well, both movies are fantastic, but I think that Howl's Moving Castle gets a little bit of a one-up because of those
that is your favorite movie. I am partial,
but it's because of that argument, because it does have a little bit more for adults. It's not just about a kid's imagination. It's about really the main character, Sophie, she blooms as a person. Like she starts out as a meek person and then she has to set out into the world to get back her youth, and she really grows as a person because of it. She becomes a strong female character, which Miyazaki is classic for making strong female characters, and she is definitely much stronger than the one in My Neighbor Totoro.
Okay. I'm going to let you have
this I can keep going.
I would rock, paper. I think our fans would like us to rock, paper, scissors, but I am going to concede this one.
Just let me have it.
I do think, it's a fair argument. Next up is Mary and the Witch's Flower versus Kiki's Delivery Service. Now, Mary and the Witch's Flower is the debut movie for Studio Ponnoc. I understand what they were trying to do with it. I recognize that it's beautiful artwork. I don't think the story is very solid, nor do I think the character development is very solid. In comparison to Kiki's Delivery Service, a very similar film from Studio Ghibli. I think Kiki is a much more likable character, much more relatable character, and the setting, I think, is a little more entertaining in the Kiki's Delivery Service compared to Mary and the Witch's Flower. It's very isolated, Mary and the Witch's Flower. Mm-hmm. You don't really get an understanding of the world. That said, some of the side characters in Mary and the Witch's Flower, I would love to see their own sort of show or movie from it, like the grandmother. But
definitely the grandmother.
I think Kiki's Delivery Service has to take this one.
Absolutely. I think Mary and the Witch's Flower is a great start for Studio Ponnoc, and I can't wait to see how they grow. But I think that it was their first time. They kind of had like a mishmash of all their ideas thrown at you, and it was a very fast, hectic pace, whereas Miyazaki really had mastered like a calm, beautiful, relaxing tempo to the movies, where you really get to absorb the world, like you said. Like, you get to see more of how the world works and how their characters are just like a small piece to a bigger picture. And in Mary and the Witch's Flower, it's just these characters running around. There's so much happening, and you see it's a lot of just throwing at you of different Miyazaki cliche like characters. You see like, oh, this is from Princess Mononoke. Oh, that was from Spirited Away. Like, it looks like just Studio Ghibli movies put together.
Next up, we have Grave of the Fireflies versus Princess Mononoke. For me, Grave of the Fireflies is one of the most moving anime movies I think I've ever seen. It might be one of my all-time favorites. It might very well be my favorite Studio Ghibli movie. It's very deep. It's very sad. It's very real. Princess Mononoke is a fun adventure fantasy time, and I have nothing bad to say about that movie. But Grave of the Fireflies moved me in a way I don't think I've ever been moved by a movie. I don't think Princess Mononoke
is a fun adventure. I think it's not as
great. It's intense.
It's not
but
as...
it's a fun fantasy.
Right, but I don't think fun is the right word for it. I mean, there's scenes when she is like sucking blood out with her mouth. There are scenes where like a creature is wreaking havoc over the mountainside and destroying nature, and creatures running for their lives. Like, it is also a very grim movie at times, and it's about people fighting for their lives and their livelihood, and it's, and Princess Mononoke struggles as well to protect the forest, but it's not a lighthearted film.
Are you arguing that?
No, I just want to give the movie justice, but fair. I think that you're misrepresenting it. Like, when you say,
excuse me,
compared to Grave of the Fireflies, sure, it seems lighthearted, but it's not a lighthearted film either.
No,
they're both very serious. They're both the two serious films from Studio Ghibli, but Grave of the Fireflies is obviously the most by far, but Princess Mononoke would be the second most serious and real. Not realistic in this real, but like, wow, like this is real. Like, it doesn't hide the blood. It doesn't make it cutesy. It shows everything. So I think that Princess Mononoke is also not a force to be reckoned with, but Grave of the Fireflies, there's just nothing like it.
So I think Grave of the Fireflies advances.
Yeah. Last set, we have Your Name against Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. Come on now.
So now Gundam Wing Endless Waltz is sort of a accumulation of the Gundam Wing anime, which doesn't really hold up. It was good at the time, classic mech battle wars. Like, the story is solid. The dialogue is not very great. But we recently watched Your Name. You'll be getting an episode soon on that. It's a really beautiful, heartfelt story, and I don't think Endless Waltz really stands up to it.
Not at all.
All right, so back to the anime shows. We're now in round 2 of the anime shows, and it brings us to Your Lie in April versus Parasite the Maxim.
I don't immediately lean to one or the other.
Your Lie in April is my choice. If
I had to choose between the gore and
Your Lie in April is a beautiful
love and friendship, and I would say absolutely Your Lie in April. Plus, I really don't have any serious qualms with the show, whereas Parasite, I feel like there's some parts that could be worked on.
Parasite is a great show as well. There's no arguing there, but Your Lie in April is just a beautiful, beautiful show.
Absolutely.
So Your Lie in April advances. Steins Gate versus Mushishi.
Steins Gate.
I agree. I think Steins Gate is the one to advance. Mushishi is interesting and different, but Steins Gate it's a really good sci-fi anime. Now, Mushishi delves a little more on the fantasy side of things, but
it's not really fantasy so much as, I mean, you can argue it's fantasy, but it's more spiritual. Like, it's taking...
Yeah, but I think
nature
that would fall under the fantasy realm of genre.
Right, like you can argue it's fantasy, but it has a more spiritual
message.
Like spirits of the forest kind of feeling to it. It's more of almost like a religious take on nature, where it's a lot like Buddhism and Hindu, where they worship multiple gods, and everything on the earth embodies like a different spirit. But it is fictitious, but it doesn't have that fantasy vibe. But still, I feel like Steins Gate is such a fantastic show, and I feel like I'm just gonna say that about everything on this, like, oh, it's so great, it's awesome. But Steins Gate is just so well rounded, and it was just the main character really has you thinking, like, is he really crazy? Or is he like really know what he's doing the whole time? Because he did invent a time machine, first of all. But the whole time he's like, whoa, ho, ho, you know, I'm like, he just has this big facade on that. I feel like it really keeps you on your toes of the show.
Erased versus My Hero Academia.
It's so good.
My Hero Academia gets me pumped. Like a show I haven't had in a long time. Erased is a much more intense adult show. So it's really hard to see these two up against each other. I think, considering what has come before, My Hero Academia has to advance.
Really? I was leaning towards Erased.
Well, then you know what that means, listeners.
No, I'd rather discuss it. I'd rather discuss why.
Rock, paper, scissors!
No, I mean, why do you
Rock,
think...
paper, scissors!
I don't think it should be
My Hero
up to
Academia,
a game.
It's a very fun, lively show. It's very different. Like, they take the superhero genre and they just...
And shonen.
They're not only advancing it, but they're making fun of it too. It's very aware of itself, and I think that makes it a really fun, intense... The show, there are moments where you kind of, like, fear for the character. Like, there are moments where the character just pushes himself beyond limit, and you're just like, that is awesome. Like, I wish I had that gusto. I wish I had that drive for something. Here he is. This character, he just puts everything on the line always.
Or in the beginning when he was trying to build up his body to accept the ability from All Might, and in 10 months it was that he went from a scrawny kid to like a machine. But he had to work so hard, literally just pulling garbage to do it. But like, that was really inspiring. That was such an awesome, just kick-ass moment where you're just like, this is great. This is very inspiring. And it makes you want to like get up and do something.
Well, you were going to argue for Erased.
No, I'm just saying I leaned towards it because it's different. It's also different because I know My Hero Academia, you said it's different than your average superhero or shonen, whereas Erased, I know first of all, it's based on a young kid and an adult at the same time. We're always saying that animes don't follow anyone in their late 20s or early 30s, and here we finally found one. That's different.
That's a good point.
That's something that we're always looking for. It kept like a parent and as a strong role model and kept that included in the show. That's something that I'm always saying.
I think we're gonna have to rock, paper, scissors.
I honestly don't know which one I want to pick.
Well, then we got rock, paper, scissors.
Fine.
Which one? You're gonna be playing for Erased.
Rock, paper, scissors, then shoot.
What is that?
It was...
She just pulled a gun on me.
I did one finger and the thumb instead of two fingers.
Right.
Rock, paper, scissors, then shoot.
Oh, that's one for me. Rock, paper, scissors, then shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, then shoot. Oh my goodness, Erased takes it.
I'm still not sure though. It just gives me another moment to think about it.
Nope, it is over. Erased advanced past My Hero Academia. I think that is the upset of the tournament so far.
I mean, goodness. I'm not saying it's not an amazing show. I'm just saying that Erased brings something to the table that you've been literally complaining about.
It's hard
Why are
to choose,
all animes
isn't it?
About kids with these big responsibilities, and here it is again.
Well, the
all
thing is, My Hero
with
Academia is different because
powers.
it's not made in the real world. It's not meant to be in the real world. Erased is...
It's just powers are commonplace, and if you have a cool one, you can get into the school.
I mean, if you feel like Erased is wrong, we can go with My Hero Academia because that's what I would choose. Because it gets me pumped. And I love Erased. Erased might be my favorite, like, drama anime.
Alright, let's put My Hero Academia.
Oh my goodness. The ref calls interference. My Hero Academia is up next.
It was a really hard decision.
Our final match of round 2 comes to Yona of the Dawn versus Cowboy Bebop. Now, Your Name Dawn was refreshing for shoujo. No.
Yeah, it was a shoujo. Yeah, it was
very refreshing for a shoujo. However, it's Cowboy Bebop
all the way.
You can't do anything against it.
It's not even an argument. We don't even have to discuss it. It's Cowboy Bebop.
All right, movies. Round 2, match 1 is Ghost in the Cloud versus Spirited Away.
Spirited Away.
I agree. Spirited Away, I think, takes it hands down. Ghost in the Cloud is fun. Great music, but Spirited Away has the great music and has the great story and everything in between. So Spirited Away. Ponyo versus Pokemon the first movie. You're not going to argue this with me. It's Pokemon the first movie.
I'll allow it.
Now we have Howl's Moving Castle versus Kiki's Delivery Service. Now, I don't believe Kiki's Delivery Service is a better movie. I think Howl's Moving Castle is.
Yeah. I mean, they're both amazing.
Grave of the Fireflies versus Your Name. This is also a really tough one. Your Name, I thought, was a little predictable. Grave of the Fireflies, it grabbed my heart.
The thing
wrung it out, and then it was just like, oh, you need a breather? Go ahead. And then it wrung it out again.
You can't argue that Your Name is predictable and then pin it against the movie where it gives you the ending in the beginning scene. Because obviously you're meant to predict the ending. You're given the ending.
I understand that, but it's not...
they're both predictable.
Your Name is predictable without the ending. It's not something I haven't seen before. Grave of the Fireflies is, because I've not grown up in that time. And this was a depiction of that time from the people who made the movie. Mm-hmm. And it's very intense, and it just breaks my heart to watch that movie. I don't think Your Name beats it.
Do you think you could ever watch that movie again?
That's the thing. As much as I appreciate that movie, and it very well may be my favorite anime movie because of how it made me feel, I don't know if I could ever watch that again.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But I vote Grave of the Fireflies. You're comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're on to our round 3, match 1
shows.
of anime shows, which brings us Your Lie in April versus Steins Gate.
We have to talk about this.
It's Your Lie in April.
Why?
It's a show that is about realistic things that are happening in your life that could happen to regular everyday people. And it is about the recovery of someone who has lost their way because of these tragedies that have happened in their life. And it shows that and depicts that very beautifully. On top of that, has wonderful music. The animation constantly changes, especially towards the end, and it's really it goes from regular sort of typical anime to watercolor. Yeah, and it's a beautiful sonata to picking yourself up again. I can't, as much as I enjoyed Steins Gate, it's a fun show.
It is, but it does not stand up against Your Lie in April.
Your Lie in April advances to the semifinals. Now we have My Hero Academia versus Cowboy Bebop. Now again, My Hero Academia might be one of my favorite shonens in the last decade. That said, Cowboy Bebop... And I think the world
agrees, but...
Cowboy Bebop transcends time.
It created its own genre. It's
too
mind-blowing.
Good. It's really...
Really just plowing through this bracket.
And you know what? Cowboy Bebop can be liked by anyone. And
anyone, yeah.
You don't have to be an anime fan, and I think it's greatest strength and the beauty of the show. Anyone can watch this. This is an any person show.
Oh, I remember when I was younger, my sibling MK, who was in the Mushishi episode, always really gave me a lot of crap for liking anime, and then watched Cowboy Bebop in English and said it was awesome. Loved it. No complaints. Doesn't matter that it's an anime. Fantastic show. And this is someone that really at the time hated anime, so I have to agree that anyone could love that show. We are back to the anime movies.
Match 1 is Spirited Away versus Pokemon the first movie.
Spirited Away.
I say Pokemon.
Spirited Away.
I say Pokemon.
Spirited Away.
And
You're just Pokemon. Sentimental against Pokemon, but the show was better.
That's not
the movie was just yay,
true.
Movie.
Pokemon the movie is fun. It gives you the feels, and not that Spirited Away doesn't, but it's Pokemon. Pokemon has been around for 21 years on its own.
Spirited Away won, Academy Awards.
I'm just saying. I'm voting Pokemon.
I'm voting for Spirited Away.
Well, then we're rock, paper, scissors. Right?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, and shoot. I won.
All right. Spirited Away advances. I'm sorry I couldn't take you there, Pokemon. And that's, it's fair. I can't really argue it. Spirited Away is a great movie.
I know that you love
But Pokemon the first movie will forever
but Spirited Away is a much better
have won
film.
that in my heart.
Okay, whatever. All right. We're down to the biggest decision. Howl's Moving Castle, my favorite film of all time, and Grave of the Fireflies, you said it was your favorite anime movie.
It very well might be. As much as I love Pokemon for the child in me, I love Grave of the Fireflies for who I am today. For you, Howl's Moving Castle has been it from the first time you've seen it.
Yeah, it's been my favorite movie for the longest
both
time.
coming from Studio Ghibli. Grave of the Fireflies, directed by the recently passed
Isao Tatakara.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm ready to just
rock paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors, and shoot.
And that Grave of the Fireflies.
No, but I love it so much. No.
Oh my goodness, God. So our semifinals for the anime shows comes to Your Lie in April versus Cowboy Bebop.
Your Lie in April is amazing, but Cowboy Bebop, just like you said, transcends all shows.
This actually hurts. Naturally, I'm going with Cowboy Bebop because it's a show that, as I said earlier, anyone can enjoy. There's nothing bad about it. It depicts strong women. It has strong backstory, despite having very little backstory. Although it's a Monster of the Week kind of show, it really is something else. And it's hitting its 20th anniversary, and it's still just as good as when I saw it. In fact, I may even like it more watching it as an adult. Your Lie in April is a beautiful show, and it might be my second favorite on this, but that's what it is, number 2. So Cowboy Bebop advances to the finals, taking the anime show title, Cowboy Bebop.
We knew that was going to happen.
And finally, our finals under anime movies, Spirited Away versus Grave of the Fireflies.
Howl's Moving Castle.
I, again, am going with Grave of the Fireflies. Spirited
I
Away is one of my favorite anime movies as well, but Grave of the Fireflies is
See, I like Howl's more than
beautiful.
Spirited Away.
Well, that's just how the cookie crumbled.
No.
How the dice rolled.
All right. Spirited Away.
How the chips fell. How the pins were knocked down. I can't do this all day.
No, I'm thinking about Spirited Away. And I have to say that the main character in this movie, the girl, she starts out like a little whiny, a little selfish, and she kind of has to find her way through this spirit world.
Well, you know what? You could...
And, she's definitely not one of the strongest characters in the Miyazaki films. I have to say that Grave of the Fireflies is, even though Spirited Away is like an award-winning film, I think that Grave of the Fireflies is more
it is for me.
Heartbreaking, moving, and really just life-changing when you watch it and you realize, like, wow, this really happened. This is what war does. And even though they didn't say it was an anti-war film, it can't not be. And I feel like that is it really is a moving film.
That's
so
true.
I agree. Spirited Away is
Firefly.
That's what you would say fun movie.
Takes the anime movie showcase, winning on that stage. We are down to the final winners of the tournament, bringing in Cowboy Bebop for the anime shows, while Grave of the Fireflies takes the anime movies. Now we pit them against each other.
Cowboy Bebop.
I'm sorry. For the gold.
See, Grave of the Fireflies, it really only has one lesson for you. Cowboy Bebop, it's got so many layers.
I don't need to argue.
Okay,
I agree that Cowboy Bebop is the better of the two, simply because, again, anyone can enjoy Cowboy Bebop. It'd be hard for a young person, I think, to understand Grave of the Fireflies. I feel like it is
or be allowed to watch.
I feel like it is directed at an older audience, an audience that has seen the hardships of life and
a voting age, I'd say. They want to try to get them involved.
It's a good look back to know that you're not making the same mistakes. But Cowboy Bebop, again, can be enjoyed by all. Maybe it doesn't have the real life lessons, so to say, but it's fun. It's never boring. It's got great character development, which Grave of the Fireflies may lack a little bit.
I mean, it doesn't take place over a long time.
That's true.
And there's really no way for them to grow. They're so busy struggling just to survive.
Well,
there's really nothing they can do.
I agree that Cowboy Bebop takes it, winning the anime showdown. March Madness, not really March anymore. April bracket. The crowd goes. Cowboy Bebop wins it for us.
Cowboy Bebop.
Alright, so that is our anime showdown bracket. I hope you guys had a fun time.
We want to know what you guys think. We have the template for this bracket ready to go, but you gotta be on Patreon. So just check out our Patreon page, become a member, support us, get the awesome perks, including access to the bracket and we want you to share it on Patreon when you're done, because we'd love to see what you guys come up with. I mean, it's hard to imagine anything beating Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, it's the minimum tier, $1. It's, $1 a month. You get our eternal gratitude and this bracket.
And you will get a shout out on our next episode. So
yeah, that's true.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah, wink wink. But although if you do subscribe to the $5 a month, you get access to the full versions of any video projects that we ever do, which we have one up already, and we have another one coming up really soon. And you get all of our episodes a day early. So, I mean, I think the $5 a month is the best deal for you. But the $1 a month will get you access to the bracket, and we love to see what you guys got. So thank you again for listening. Don't forget, you can email us at gitcanime@gmail.com. Our episodes are always up on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. And our social medias are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can find all this wonderful information right on our website at gitcanime.com. And again, like we said, Patreon, please check it out. You can see the awesome perks and reap the benefits and support our podcast, which you would be a big help, as would rating our podcast on iTunes.
Yes.
Giving us those big 5 stars. That would be the greatest gift of all, getting our podcast out there. And thank you to Anthony for our awesome intro tune. You can check out his podcast at What's Your Fortune.
Cool.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye. Meow.